Residents in this area are asked to please lock all external doors and vehicles and remain vigilant. Review your surveillance cameras and contact police if you observe anything suspicious. If you see this individual, do not approach him. Call 911 immediately.
Yeah, but although very tight-lipped about this investigation, the U.S. Marshal's Office told me that it has been interviewing Zimmerman's mom. The office explained that an investigation is being conducted.
Somebody's helping him. Even they said the tape was deleted.
He's a charismatic guy. He asked this guy and said, hey, I just got in a fight with my wife. He's giving me a ride to Walmart. This guy said that I'm going to Memphis. He said that's even better.
Okay, guys, we are on day 45 of the manhunt for Joshua. Zimmerman escaped from the DeSoto County Courthouse on June 15th. He was last seen in Memphis, Tennessee on June 15th. And here's what we know so far. I'm going to start with a quick rundown, but then we're going to get to the nitty-gritty, which is clarifying some statements from the mother and setting that record straight, and we'll go from there. So let me start from the top. June 14th, Joshua Zimmerman, who is wanted for murder of the first degree in Texas. He's wanted for rape of a male in Connecticut. He's wanted for rape of a female in Connecticut. He's wanted for kidnapping in Connecticut. He's wanted for attempted murder in Connecticut. He's wanted for attempted murder in Mississippi. He's wanted for armed robbery in Mississippi. He's wanted for, I'm forgetting something, armed robbery, kidnapping, rape, murder, weapons charges. There's more, but that's the gist. So June 14th, he escapes. June 15th, he's seen in Memphis, Tennessee on surveillance. If you guys go to the U.S. Marshal's poster, now here's a little spoiler alert. The photo on the bottom left, I don't know if I have it on me. The photo on the bottom left is him in Memphis, Tennessee. So that's the U.S. Marshal's wanted poster. If you guys go to that, he's in a store and he has a head covering on, a hat. That was the most recent and latest sighting. Now on the poster, it doesn't say that obviously, but it is. That's him in Memphis. So now let me get to the mom. Yesterday, you guys remember that the mom made her account a creator account, right? So that makes everything public. And her description had said a message from Joshua. That's what it was. I read it to you guys. It could have been taken either way. It could have been taken as a message from Joshua, or it could have been taken as a message from the mother to Joshua. Now, today, late last night, overnight, I didn't speak to the mother on the phone, but we DM'd. She DM'd me. And I've been trying to get a hold. I don't ever contact family and people like that, or anybody that's personally involved in the case, except obviously law enforcement and stuff like that. But never do I go to the family, the friends, unless they come to me. And when we initially started covering this, they came to us about 2 days after the coverage. Some family members, it wasn't one, it was more than one, telling us that he is on a mission to kill, right? He's coming to Connecticut to kill 5 people. That came from the family. And they said that if we continued with the cross-dressing thing, he's going to get triggered and he is going to act out quicker. So we backtraced. I mean, you guys saw the live. I was like, yeah, forget about the cross-dressing. It's possible, but who knows? So that's why we had walked it back. So we've been in touch with, this guy's got a big family, and I've been trying to get a hold of the mom, or at least have an introduction. I don't call people, but nobody was willing. I mean, the demands that they had for me to speak to the mother was a little bit ridiculous, but I don't think that this is from Tina, Joshua Zimmerman's mother. If you're gonna, and this isn't a bad thing. I want to make sure that her side gets out and we are factual, right? So this problem that we ran into with the description on Facebook, there's no timestamp, and Facebook doesn't have a timestamp for that because it's a profile description. You can't tell when it's there. Now, our team, which consists of, at this point, about 35 people that are not working the case, not on the case, we are assisting by chasing leads that the marshals might not have time to look at or they didn't see, and then we send that over to them, right? So the coverage and stuff, that's like to keep the public obviously up to date, but our main goal is to catch Joshua Zimmerman and get him off the streets before he kills again. So here's the message from the mom, and I want everybody to understand, you guys have to hold judgment on the mother, because up until yesterday, I had a very different idea about her. It's because of the silence and that wall that was put around her by those that are closest to her family. They built a wall and made it sound like she was the quiet one, but I don't know. It's not sounding right, because here's the message that I have. If you're gonna post my words, what I was doing was letting Joshua know that I now know he lied to me. He called me 3 times on the 14th from 3 different phone numbers, saying they were CO's phone numbers and that he was at court. He said the COs were looking out for him because... Let me start this over. He said the COs were looking out for him because he was being sentenced that day and being transferred to county jail. He also said this was the CO's Cash App and that they would make sure the money got on my books. I never knew until days later that he had escaped. My son and the COs have good relationships. I have Cash Apped many other COs. I never would have helped him had I known he escaped. I want him captured alive. I never called him like you said. He called me 3 times that day. I will do all I can to help. But also, my mom is critically fighting for her life. She is my world. I appreciate you taking down my mom's photo and my kids. And for the record, the kids' photos, we blurred the heck out of them, so you couldn't even tell the kids' skin tone. But because I don't post photos of kids or family members and I thought the grandmother was actually Tina. I'm sorry, Tina. Not that it's just there's so many pictures. I didn't know who was who, and you guys kind of almost looked the same. I thought it was the same person. It turns out it was the grandmother. I'll continue with the statement. He called me 3 times that day. I appreciate you taking down my mom's photo and my kids. My son was also the barber in there and hustling commissary. So the money was his, not something I gave him. I believed him when he said he was at court being sentenced to serve life that day. I'm sick to my stomach over this. He may have taken the wrong paths in life. But my family is a loving family that helps others for the better, not for the worse. And I'm going to read it one more time without any interruptions. If you're going to post my words, what I was doing was letting Joshua know that now I know he lied to me. He called me 3 times on the 14th from 3 different numbers, saying they were CO's phone numbers and that he was at court. He said the COs were looking out for him because he was being sentenced that day and being transferred to county jail. He also said that this was the CO's Cash App and that they would make sure the money got on his books. I never knew until days later that he had escaped. Keyword, they. It's not one CO, they. And we already know he had a sexual relationship with a female CO. Now back to the statement. My son and the COs have a good relationship. I have Cash Apped many other COs. Many other. I never would have helped him had I known he escaped. Now, when I say many other, I'm not saying it's... I'm going to explain how that's normal in jail. It's not a red flag. I mean, it isn't. I'll explain that in a second. He called me 3 times that day. I will do all I can to help. I believed him when he said he was at court being sentenced to serve life that day. I'm sick to my stomach over this. He may have taken the wrong paths in life, but my family is a loving family that helps others for the better, not for the worse. Now, let me explain the Cash App, and that checks out. So in prison or jails, it's normal. So what Joshua does is, he's like a hustler. I mean, it's not a bad thing. He cuts hair, tattoos, and they charge, right? And the money is through Cash App, and they'll call their, like, girlfriend's boyfriend. Most of the guys in there, I guess, don't have boyfriend. I don't know how it works. But they'll call their loved ones, and they'll have them give the Cash App, and they'll send the money to that loved one. Will then send the money to the place it has to get. Not 90%. Half of the time, it's because of tattoos, barbershop, stupid small level, like, drug things. This time, Joshua might have, I mean, this is a little bit, it's crazy that he would do this, because I see why he would not tell. So her story adds up, because had Joshua told her a lot on the day of the escape, he knows that she's going to go away for the rest of her life. And when authorities kick in the door and she's kind of not clueless because she had a conversation, but she doesn't know everything, he might have been looking out for her by not saying, I'm escaping. So that way, when they come, there is no way to, like, say, a polygraph. She could pass it. If I'm not saying she could. I'm just saying if he did not tell her that was an escape, she would pass it, right? So we have to hold judgment on the mom. And the reason why we kind of jumped on it is the mom needs to have her family be, I feel bad for her because she tried to get her statement out, but the way she wrote that surrender post, it was greatly misunderstood from my understanding, because I read it to you guys verbatim, so we know what it said. And it was not what she wanted to get out. And that happens to me a lot. Like, if I can't communicate something, I can't find the word for it, I can't, obviously, if I'm in a situation like that, it's going to be even harder. But the younger people in the family, they should be there for her to make sure that she's not setting herself up for failure. Unless there's another relative in the family that's been sending us around in loops and trying to make the mother look to be the bad guy. And I'm buying that. And it's not because she said that or anybody said that. It's from experience. When family members give completely contradicting statements, and they don't even talk to each other about who speaks to who. The people that gave us information about Zimmerman coming to Connecticut to kill 5 people are as close to Zimmerman as his mother, okay, by blood. So, what the heck is that? So, at the end of the day, the information is extremely solid. If it was a neighbor, we're not going to put that out there because that's going to cause panic. But if an individual, say I'm on the run, and my sister calls a journalist and says, hey, my brother is going to come to Philly and do an active shooting, that right there is a credible threat because it's coming from my sister, not my neighbor, my sister. So when we say he's going to kill, that's coming from people that are just as close to Josh as the mother, if not closer, because sometimes guys aren't going to share everything with the mom. Neither are girls that are the same age as Josh, you know. So the younger people in the family, not the kids, I'm talking, when I say young, I mean like I guess my age, the 30-year-olds in the family, they know how to use social media. The sister, I don't know your name, Christine something. Your post is beautiful, right? Your mom's post sounds like a damn confession, girl. So the mom obviously wasn't taking to Facebook to confess, but that's how it came out. Again, they told judgment until he's captured, until they make arrests. There are several accomplices, people are gonna get arrested, so we can't just say everybody's clear. Yeah, no, people are gonna get locked up. It's just a matter of when, where. Obviously, there's a lot of COs that are gonna have some problems, and it's not just at DeSoto County either. It goes back to Waterbury, Connecticut, where a cop tipped Zimmerman off and said, the DNA came back for the rape of a man. We're coming to get you. And he cut his anklet off with his girlfriend and took off. Goes from there on the run. Now, he had a gun that he took from Connecticut to Texas. They get to Texas. They go through Georgia, Florida, the whole 9 yards. They get there. He shoots her in the head, killing her. Premeditated, because he thought she was going to turn him in. He takes the same gun, leaves Texas, gets on a Greyhound, and with $150 total, he makes it out to Mississippi. Using the same gun that he had from Connecticut, that he used to murder in Houston, he now pulled out in the neck in another attempted murder/armed robbery. This is all because he is on the run. That means this individual is literally killing. He is a spree killer. That's what they're called. And when he's reaching that level of desperation, because if there was any communication with the family, that's cut. Whoever he is communicating with, the time is limited. Their time is limited, but we have to make sure that if there are any sightings that we have. Let me get back to the main point. Zimmerman was last seen in Memphis, Tennessee, June 15th. He is believed, until there is a visual sighting, confirmed visual sighting, to be in that region. That doesn't mean they're not scouring the other 4 states, which they are. But Tennessee, be on the lookout. Arkansas, be on the lookout. Mississippi, be on the lookout. Connecticut, be on the lookout. And Florida, be on the lookout. Arkansas was added to the list just after 1 a.m. this morning, when the Arkansas State Police, they started their sweeping operations right in an area that you can ride one of those Razor scooter things, like not the motor ones. You could, like, you know what I'm talking about. And you can go into 3 states in 5 minutes, okay? So it's a blessing and a curse. The good thing is if Zimmerman is spotted in Arkansas and he has that with the firearm, there's no more such, DeSoto County's out of the picture. The second Zimmerman pulls that gun out, the second Zimmerman threatens somebody, it could be a small terroristic threat. I'm going to kill you. They're going to enhance it to a federal case. The FBI is going to take it over 100%. And then you're going to have the U.S. Marshals and the FBI searching for this guy across the country. Zimmerman, if you're watching, play it safe. There are safe routes out. Instead of using the word kill, use the word cooperate. Right now, the ball is in your court. Right now, you still have that little leeway to make some kind of a deal with prosecutors. You're never going to, I'm not saying that you're going to get out. I mean, maybe you'll be found not guilty. I don't know. But when I say a deal, I mean something realistic. Something that would benefit your family. Your grandmother's dying. If you want to see her again, that could be possible. You might even be able to go to where she is with your mom, obviously under supervision. Go and see her. And you might be able to work out a deal with the U.S. attorney where if you end this manhunt peacefully, safely, and at your own will without anybody getting a paper cut, it's not far-fetched that if you ask to stay in Connecticut in a federal prison, and if you agree to plead guilty to all charges and serve a life sentence, it's not far-fetched that the U.S. attorney will agree to keep you in Connecticut in a federal maximum security prison where you can serve your sentence, because you would save, obviously, the taxpayers millions of dollars. And you have a trial in Texas, a trial in Mississippi, a trial in Connecticut, right? The feds, they're willing, they want to talk to you, bro. I mean, that's a fact. You're wanted, okay? So at the end of the day, you have the time, but it's very limited. Every little step, you have to be careful, because if you make one of these little mistakes, and I'm just saying this because he might be watching, if you make a mistake, you are going not just to harm yourself, your mother, your grandmother, your sister, your cousins, your kids, they are going to live with the fact that they were related to a guy who's compared to Andrew Cunanan and Ted Bundy. You've got Andrew Cunanan, the gay spree killer, who went and shot Versace, assassinated him. And then you have Ted Bundy, the serial killer, who was able to finesse his way into cars and get girls and lure people. You made your point. You outran the government you did good for what you did. And at the end of the day, outran almost every other inmate that I've seen, dude. So you set a record. I don't know what your end game is, but you don't want people to get hurt. And it's time. You had the whole summer. This is actually like a funny part of the story. You got summer vacation from serving a life sentence, dude. So you do have options. And use the burner phone that you used to call your mom to call the U.S. Marshals, okay? And you never know. They might be willing to work something out. I mean, they are. Are you kidding? They will work something out. At the end of the day, you have the ball in your court as long as you don't use violence, as long as you don't threaten anything. And at the end of the day, the best way for this to end would be for you to pick up a phone, a burner, begin speaking with the U.S. attorney or the U.S. Marshals. I would get a hold of the U.S. attorney in Suffolk County in Massachusetts. I'm sure somebody that you're with can Google the number. Get a hold of them. Ask them for the special agent in charge of that field office out there in Suffolk County. With the U.S. attorney, they'll listen to you, and they will get you an attorney on the phone. Like, you're not going to be blindfolded and think. You have a chance to get to see your mom and your family again, right? And not just once, for the rest of your life. What's done is done. You can't go back, and it is what it is, and it just sucks, right? And I'm sure you wish you could go back. A lot of people do, because I don't know if you would do the same things that you did if you could go back in time. And I'm sure by the sound of it, you might not have, So, but it's just not an option. You don't want to end up like Danilo Cavalcante, though. He is going to be within a cage, until the year, 2038. So in 2038 is when Danilo Cavalcante, who's also about our age, I'm 8 days older than Josh, which is insane. So Cavalcante is in prison, but he's in solitary for dang on 15 years as an enhancement to his sentence. He gets 1 hour out total of a cell, but he is walked around like a dog. They chain him up entire body. In the shower, he's shackled. On the phone, when he has a phone call, very rarely, he's shackled. On his legal calls, it's not even his lawyer. Put that there. There's the tea for the day. I like how people are just giving this guy poor Cavalcante. I mean, I'm not going to say poor Cavalcante because I want to know what happened at trial, but I don't think we will because people are working overtime to shut up that whole case. But Zimmerman, you can probably end this thing on a note that won't leave a more bitter taste than it already has been left across the country. If somebody else gets killed, an innocent person, that it doesn't have to happen. What you can do is cooperate, stop using violence, and at the end of the day, there are success story galores in prison, right? And you would probably be the man if you were able to, if the inmates there know that you were able to tell the government, listen, if you guys want me, here's the deal. I'll do my time, plead guilty to everything, life in prison, but I got to do it with the feds because I don't trust those corrupt DeSoto people. Guaranteed you'll have a better time, as good of a time as possible in prison. You know, I'm not saying it's a paradise, but Texas is going to give you the chair. Right now is your real bet to get ahead of the game, make the phone call, cooperate, set the record straight, get your mom out of this, get your grandmom out of this, get your aunt out of this, get your cousins and your sisters and your kids out of this, and just face the heat. Go to trial. It'll probably be a high-profile trial. Look, if that's what you're looking for is publicity, you got it, okay? And you set a record. So at the end of the day, it's time to turn yourself in, or at least begin the conversations. Zimmerman, you're not going to leave the United States. If you left Tennessee and Mississippi and Arkansas, God bless you, but your time is very limited. The second you touch the East Coast, you're going to have forces coming for you that you don't even know existed. They're going to, I mean, it's not a joke, man. And they don't play games. You saw the message from, is that the memory you want to leave behind? You can make this right. And they can look at you as not the guy that got them held at gunpoint, but as the guy that said, F this. It's not about my family. It's about me. If you guys want me, you get me. That is how real gangsters even do it. I don't know another gangster that would throw his mom under or his grandmom under or his sister under. Like, dude, I know it sucks. And it's just, it is what it is. We can't go back in time. So if you can, if you're watching, and if he has friends that are watching, again, open that line of communication. I promise you it'll be the best thing you ever did because you only have 3 options. You pick up the phone and you call them. You have to look over your shoulders for the next however many, I'd say the rest of your life, but the rest of your life is going to be about at most 3 months. And if you're lucky, you'll go to Texas. If you're lucky, you'll go to Texas. There's a high chance they're just going to shoot you, okay? Because at this point, with the information that's coming from your family, with the lack of bro, at the end of the day, you walked out of a courthouse, you have the keys to the shackles and the handcuffs, you got escorted out, you knew which doors were unlocked, and you got a gun. I mean, it doesn't get any crazier than this. And you managed to get a phone, and then also, it wasn't 1 CO, it's like 6. So, dude, at the end of the day, you are smart enough to know what happens to people who piss off the government and make them look stupid. They're not going to punish the government as much as they're going to punish you. Okay? You call the U.S. attorney, hell with it. Tell him you'll snitch on DeSoto County. Listen, snitching on corruption is not frowned upon at all. You can go to the biggest gangsters and they'll snitch on a damn politician. Are you kidding me? You have the upper hand to end corruption in that county, dude. Whoever helped, you can get rid of, I mean, literally, you can take out an entire county's political little reign with your testimony in Connecticut in a federal case. And let me tell you, the U.S. attorney in Tennessee, who's investigating this situation as far as the courthouse is related, and that's not the same grand jury that's going on in DeSoto, it's a separate one. That is not, it's moving quick. And what they would love is you as a witness, not as a defendant. And I'm sure that if you become the federal witness, again, you're not going to be released, but you will be able to see, you'll be put in a prison near your home. When I say near, within a couple of hours, not within a 4-hour flight, within driving range. You'll be able to have visits. You'll be able to have video visits and phone calls. If you are captured alive without turning yourself in, say goodbye to the phone, say goodbye to visits, say goodbye to everything. You will not have prisoners don't have rights as it is, and you are going to be stripped of even the most bare minimum. You're going to be in a turtle suit, it's called, where you walk around naked with chains. You don't have the right to you don't have the right to anything. You don't want to get to that point, dude, because once you do, that's as long as your sentence, 15 years in solitary. Not to mention the amount of, I understand you face life anyway, so the extra charges don't really matter. But what should matter is your family. They didn't do anything to deserve it. And by you calling your mom, if that's true, on the day of the escape, you threw her in pretty damn good. And you understand that she's not the greatest at technology and she's not the greatest at typing and communicating her messages, and yet you did it, right? So you knew that she was going to get caught or questioned. It's 24. Cash App, you should have put it on Facebook and checked in. So you knew, but you did it. And this is your chance to make it right. Not for anybody else, but the hell with me, the hell with the world, the hell with everybody. Your mom, your sister, your cousins, your child. Look, I know you don't have a great relationship whatsoever with your baby, with the girl the baby mom, I guess that's the best term. She doesn't like you. I understand that. But you can still have that relationship with your kids and your brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews and mom, as long as you do the right thing. Otherwise, they're going to kill you. They're going to lock your mom up. Your grandmother's going to die from stress. Like, it's sickening, dude. What you're doing right now is not the best time to do it. The best relief for your family wouldn't be just your capture. It would be for you to be doing your prison time in Connecticut, somewhere where they can at least come and see you. And I know people are always saying, oh, the hell with them, they're killers. No, at the end of the day, if that's in Texas, he's never going to see his family. And if that's what he wants is just to see the family and the grandmother is sick, it's all adding up. If that's what he wants, let's give it to him. And I'm sure that the feds would. I'm not a Fed. I can't make a deal, but I can tell you that they'll answer your phone call. And if you need, literally, if you can't find their number, get one of your friends to send me a text. And I'll send you the cell numbers for every agent that you need to talk to get stuff in the works. We are willing. I'm not a cop. When I say we, it's me, Dog the Bounty Hunter, and our team of people that are assisting in the search and gathering leads and sending them over. But essentially, we kind of understand what you want to do, and that kind of is be closer to home. But you're just not taking it, you're not doing it the right way. If anybody else gets harmed, you're not going home. If you go to Connecticut and you kill somebody and you think that's going to trump Texas, that's stupid. And if you think that just because you take a lot more people that you're going to trump Texas, when I say trump, I mean like that, stay in Connecticut, you're very naive, man. If you do something first of all, if you shoot somebody in the foot in Connecticut, you're going to get the FBI like a hornet's nest, and they're going to come for you you're done. If you kill somebody, you'll be lucky to leave that spot alive. Now, if you do anything more than one person, you're going to be considered a terrorist, and you're never going home. You'll be lucky to be over at Florence in Colorado. It's a supermax prison where the Boston bomber is, where El Chapo and those little guys, well, not little, but you know what I mean, this short guy. That's where you end up if you do something like that. So I don't know, whatever family member put that in your head, and I know it wasn't your mom, because your mom seems to have a lot of misleading individuals in her circle as well. Whoever you're getting info from, and I know Josh is getting info from people in the family, we don't know who, but he is staying in contact. He is in the know. Whoever feeds him this information, if he acts on it, that's on you. Not as much, it's obviously him, but when they get him or they kill him, you're getting the same punishment. If you remember that girl that told her boyfriend to go commit suicide or whatever it was, tell the boy to go, and he did it. Well, this is a lot worse than that, okay? This is instigating an escaped murderer to commit a mass I mean, it's crazy. Again, if you know something, call the U.S. Marshals. Zimmerman, if you're watching, man, I said not me. Call the U.S. Attorney. Get a hold of them on a burner phone. Call somebody. Don't call 911. That's not going to do you any good. But call the U.S. Attorney and start the line of communication. I guarantee you, by doing that, it could do more good than any bad. There will not be one bad thing that comes from picking up the phone and calling them. It will, if anything, help argue your case that you want to go home being a federal prison in Connecticut. The terms being that you will plead guilty to all crimes as charged as long as you serve life in prison in Connecticut and you agree to be a cooperating witness against DeSoto County. The heck with them. That sheriff might... you don't have to check. I mean, yeah, Ring cameras. If you see a clip, check it. But don't scour your surveillance until there's a visual sighting. But if you have a Ring camera and it picks stuff up with movement, check that. And be on the lookout. If you see somebody that matches the description, no matter what state you're in, you call the police, okay? Because he could be anywhere by now. So again, Connecticut, be on the lookout. Florida, be on the lookout. Arkansas, be on the lookout. Tennessee, be on the lookout. Mississippi, be on the lookout. He is known to utilize Greyhound and buses of that nature. So that said, regions like Philadelphia, Richmond, Virginia, Cleveland, Ohio, everywhere but Texas, you would have to assume that he's coming to Connecticut. So again, it would be everything to the right of Mississippi, but it can go all the way up towards Canada and all the way down toward Mexico within the U.S., but going toward Connecticut. Again, if you see something, say something. Be on the lookout at every single Greyhound station in the country, every rest stop in the country, everywhere you go this week, this weekend, today's Sunday, Saturday, I'm losing track. Be on the lookout everywhere. This guy is dangerous, and he could be far away from Memphis, or he can be in Memphis. Until we have a visual sighting, we just don't know. Again, do not approach, do not apprehend. As soon as I have any more information, I'll be back. And once again, guys, withhold judgment on the mother. Until this case is over, until he's arrested, we just don't know what we don't know. And I wanted to set the record straight with the whole story of what the mother wanted to get out, that message, which made a lot more sense when I read it out through Grammarly. I wish somebody would help her, because they know technology can really be beneficial to get her message out. It was the most misunderstood message, but yeah, it was very misunderstood compared to what I read to you guys earlier. Again, stay on the lookout, remain vigilant. If you guys live in any of those regions and you see activity, DM me. If you send me photos, I never share them except with law enforcement that are on the case. And if I ask you if I can tweet it after I ask the marshals and the police if it won't interfere with something, I just use marshals as an example because they're the first thing in my head. Then I'll ask you if I can post a photo XYZ, but it always comes back with your permission. You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean I'm going to tag you, but any information is information. So reach out to us. It doesn't matter what state you live in. I don't care. If you think you see something that could be Zimmerman, reach out. And I'm talking Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, DC, Delaware, New York, Vermont, Maine, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Ohio, West Virginia, Iowa, Wisconsin. Literally, no matter where you are, DM me. If you think you see somebody that looks like Zimmerman, if you're at a Greyhound station and you think somebody by chance might be him, you DM me right away. We cannot have these 30-minute or 30-day or 10-day or 5-minute delays anymore. Send me a DM, and I'm going to make sure that if that DM makes it to that department out there immediately, I'll send it to the correct marshals who will relay the memo, and they'll meet the Greyhound bus, okay? So if you see something, I don't care what state you're in, DM me, and I'll send you my cell number, and then we'll go from there, obviously. So stay safe, remain vigilant, check your surveillance. Tennessee, be on the lookout. Mississippi, be on the lookout. Florida, be on the lookout. Arkansas, be on the lookout. Connecticut, be on the lookout. And Florida, be on the lookout.